Hello. In this demonstration I will show you a method of making a timber painting stretcher using hand tools. Here is the completed painting stretcher. It has a timber frame with a rebate going around the outside. So in other words, the outer edge is slightly raised, probably 3 to 4 millimeters. The construction is glued and screwed and mitered at the corner, and this one, just for the example, has a center brace. This makes the stretcher extremely strong. The advantage for making your own is that you can do any size or any shape you want. So how do we make the painting stretcher? Just put that to one side. Now you've got your length of timber, and it might be a good idea to actually cut the timber up into usable lengths, because this timber may be 3 meters long. This is just an example, just to show you what I would do. I would perhaps use a timber block, which is a mitre block. So it does a 45-degree angle, but it also does a 90-degree angle, and they're not incredibly expensive to buy. So the type of saw you would use is a fine-tooth tenon saw. Put that out of the way. Now I've already marked up some of these lengths, so I've marked up 3 just to speed the demonstration along, and I mark the sides up together. So once you've used a tape measure, so once you've marked out your length and put a mark there, you can then put the tape measure to one side and just use one piece of wood to mark the other, so they absolutely marry up correctly. So that's the top and the bottom. So I'm now going to do the 2 sides. So I've already marked up one side, and now I'm going to transfer the marks onto this one. So I've measured it already, squared round, and put the angle on, which is for the mitre. So I'm now going to transfer that measurement onto that one. I put a temporary fence here just to help me in the demonstration, and so it's the outside edges together, and so I'm going to just transfer the measurement over. So I've got a 90-degree angle here, which is a set square, and now I'm going to go around the whole piece of timber. Now to get the angle, you would want to use what is known as a combination square perhaps, and this has a 90-degree angle and a 45-degree angle, and this ruler goes up and down, so you can adjust any kind of depth you might want to do. So I'm now going to make sure that I've got the angles the right way, otherwise you could accidentally cut them the wrong way, which I have done. So I'm just going to put the combination square against the side of the timber, hold the fence against the timber, and then mark it. Turn it over, so making sure that I will get it the right way. Do the same on that side. So it's now got all the angles ready to cut. Now this is a corner, a demonstration for the demonstration I've made, showing how the screws are put in. Now the screws are going to go down the center of the timber. So if you put one way and one the other way, you could probably hit. So it's better to sort of put them one high, one low. So I've used a ruler and I've divided the timber width up into 3 parts. Now I have the combination square. It's already set up for the depth for the demonstration, and as you can see, all I would have to do is use my pencil and then mark the depth. So I've done the others, so I've done that one, so it's the depth. So I'm going to mark this third. Turn it round. That's that part done. Now we're moving towards cutting it now. You will need a way of cutting a 45-degree angle, but you'd also need, when the timber is cut, to clamp it together so you can then put the screws in, so you can drill and screw it. So you could purchase two devices. That's a corner clamp that you can tighten, or a mitre block. But for this demonstration, I've made one so I can show you in the demonstration. So it's a homemade corner clamp and mitre cutter. So I'll show you what that looks like. So it's going to end up like that. That's so I can retrieve it. So I'm going to now cut one of the sides, and I'm going to line up the pencil line, which is the angle, the 45-degree angle, in the vise. So it lines up. Now I've clamped it so it's firm as if it was in a vise. The timber battens have got a groove in it where I've already pre-cut it. So I'm just going to cut this timber here using the tenon saw. So to start it off, you just need to draw it back and then follow the pencil line. Now you want to try and use the whole length of the saw, and let the saw do the job. Don't try and push this. And as you get towards the end of the cut, just slow up a bit. And then you end up with a nice, neat cut. Now we can cut all the other sides of the stretcher. So we cut all of them, all 4 corners, and then we can now fit them together to complete the job. Now that's a good finish, but sometimes they don't marry up quite right. So what I would do is this is a tip, is put the other piece of wood in and clamp it with a second G-clamp, and then just simply run the saw back down the cut, That would then take out any kind of deviation if there is any. You can now push these up together, and that's as good as you can get, really. That's a good joint. I'm now going to mark where the screws go. So we need to put this line in here to show where the screws go. So I've already set up a combination square, and I'm just going to put a line there, and then put a line on the other one. So what happens is that you've got a line where it shows where the screw, the drill will go, and where the screw will go, and as you can see, it's one high, one low. That's different. That's that side. Now put it back in. And then clamp it up, making sure it's nice and tight, nice and tight. Now this is a bradawl, and it's got a sharp point, so I'm now going to mark the position of where the drill is going to go, and I'm putting a bradawl in, and so it's got to start for where the drill is going to go, where you start drilling. So I've done both corners. I'm going to use this hand drill. It's very old. You can pick these up at car boot sales, eBay. They're really good. Now the drill bit, you may not be able to buy singularly on their own, so you may end up with a pack of drill bits, but the drill bit must be smaller than the screw. So this is 3.5, that needs to be 2.5. If it's too big, the thread on the screw won't bite into the timber, it won't pull itself in, and it won't be tight. So I put the offer the drill bit up to the hole, and trying to keep it straight along the timber, so it's going down the centre of the timber. And if it clogs up a bit, just go backwards, and it will take the sawdust out, so it doesn't bind up. That's good. I have a second hand drill, and in this hand drill it's set up with a countersink. So the head of the screw needs to be flush with this outer surface. It can't be sticking out, because when you put the canvas around it, you'll see this kind of bump. So you need to countersink it. There are several different sorts. This one has got a pilot drill already in it that you can adjust, and it will drill the hole and the countersink at the same time. So I'm just going to countersink the hole. So it looks like that. So it's got a dish shape for the head of the screw to fit into. Now, as I said, on a much bigger frame, it's probably not necessary to glue it, but I would suggest to use PVA glue or another make, a wood glue, and I would just put a dab on both surfaces, and if there's any residue that comes out, just use a damp cloth Right, it's now ready for screwing. Both clamps are nice and tight. Now I've got a screwdriver. I mean, it comes with different sort of heads. It's a Phillips cross head screw, which then is compatible with the screw. So I'm just going to and because you put a nice pilot hole in, it goes in quite simply. You can convert the hand drill to a screwdriver. So as I said before, if you may end up buying a pack of these or box with different sizes, and it may come with different screwdriver screwdrivers. So I think the one I bought came with this. So you can put that into the hand drill, and you can then use that as a screwdriver. Right, we're coming to the end of this demonstration, and I'll just show you the last bit. So the frame should end up looking like this. So all the corners have been glued and screwed. I put the outer edge on there just for the demonstration. Now coming to do the brace in the middle, it is just a 90-degree angle, and cut a 90-degree angle with a saw and cut it as tight as you possibly can, so it's a nice snug fit. And then it's the same method of screwing the corners, is to third it and then screw, just drill and screw, clamp it down and then drill and screw, and that then makes a nice brace fixing. Exponentially, if you wanted to do this bigger, you may end up with more braces, and even to have a cross brace. So you would have to have a half lap, so then that would look like that. Right, so the last bit is how to do the outer edge. Now I've already fixed the first one, and what I would do then is turn it around that way, it's easier, is cut all the sections up, but first fix the first one and then cut a corner, cut one of the corners, and then mark that edge and then cut that, and then slowly go round it. So you do the next one, so you're marking off the frame that you've already completed. So it's just a matter of nailing it. So I've got this kind of nailing pattern, it's in twos, and the nails I'm using are just small brads. So it's just a question of, if you want to glue it, that's fine. So it's just a question of, and then that gives you the raised edge. So you nail it all the way around. So this then completes our demonstration. I hope there's something in this for you, and there's some takeaways. And thank you so much for watching.